In this podcast episode, Lex Fridman interviews Paul Rosolie, a naturalist, explorer, author, and founder of Jungle Keepers, an organization dedicated to protecting the rainforest. The conversation takes place deep in the Amazon jungle, where they discuss the incredible biodiversity of the region, the behavior of various creatures, the importance of conservation, and the spiritual and philosophical reflections inspired by nature. Rosolie describes the Amazon as the most biodiverse part of the planet, with more life per square acre than anywhere else on Earth. They talk about the various creatures in the jungle, including snakes, jaguars, piranhas, and black caiman. Rosolie shares his admiration for snakes, describing them as misunderstood and beautiful creatures. He recounts his experiences with snakes in the jungle, highlighting their different temperaments and defense mechanisms. He also talks about his encounters with black caiman, the largest reptilian predator in the Amazon, and the power and beauty of these apex predators. The conversation delves into the behavior of animals in the jungle, including the interactions between different species. Rosolie shares a story of witnessing river otters playfully taunting a black caiman, showcasing the complex dynamics of interspecies relationships in the wild. They also discuss the importance of protecting these animals from human threats, such as poaching and habitat destruction. Rosolie talks about the dangers of the jungle, including the potential threats posed by various animals. Despite the risks, he expresses his deep connection to the natural world and his willingness to interact with these creatures. He shares stories of swimming in the Amazon River alongside piranhas, stingrays, and black caiman, highlighting his respect for these animals and his belief in coexisting peacefully with them. The conversation touches on the concept of extinction and the impact of human activities on wildlife. Rosolie reflects on the loss of species like the Caspian tiger and the Galapagos tortoise, emphasizing the importance of conservation efforts to protect endangered animals. He expresses his concern for the future of wildlife and the need for collective action to preserve biodiversity. Rosolie delves into the world of apex predators, focusing on the interactions between anacondas and caiman. He explains the predatory behaviors of these creatures, detailing how anacondas use constriction to overpower their prey, and how caiman rely on their strength and agility to hunt. He reflects on the potential outcomes of a showdown between a massive anaconda and a formidable black caiman, envisioning a fierce battle where both creatures could potentially meet their demise. The conversation shifts to the topic of uncontacted tribes living in the Amazon rainforest. Rosolie emphasizes the importance of respecting and protecting these indigenous communities, highlighting the need for conservation efforts to preserve their way of life. He shares anecdotes of encounters with tribal members and discusses the challenges of balancing exploration and conservation in the region. Rosolie shares his thoughts on the impact of modernization on indigenous tribes in the Amazon, noting the loss of traditional knowledge and practices as Western influences encroach on their way of life. He also discusses the role of plant medicines like ayahuasca in connecting individuals to the spirit world and unlocking hidden aspects of the mind. The conversation delves into the challenges faced by indigenous tribes in the region, particularly uncontacted tribes living in isolation in the jungle. Rosolie explains the historical context of violence and exploitation faced by these tribes due to the demand for rubber in the past. He highlights the resilience and survival instincts of these tribes who have maintained their traditional way of life despite external threats. Rosolie's fascination with aliens and the possibility of extraterrestrial life is also explored in the podcast. He muses on the vastness of the universe and the potential for other intelligent beings to exist beyond Earth. His curiosity about the unknown extends to his observations of unique plant and animal species in the jungle, sparking discussions on the diversity and mystery of the natural world. Rosolie delves into his fascination with insects, particularly ants, and their incredible strength and intelligence. He discusses the intricate relationships between different species in the jungle, highlighting the symbiotic and sometimes parasitic interactions that occur in nature. He also reflects on the limits of physics and evolution, pondering the extraordinary abilities of small creatures like ants and their impact on the ecosystem. Rosalie shares his love for interacting with elephants, describing them as intelligent and wise creatures. He recounts his experiences observing wild elephants in their natural habitat, highlighting their complex social structures and behaviors. He emphasizes the deep intelligence and emotional capacity of elephants, noting their ability to communicate and problem solve in ways that are often underestimated by humans. The conversation continues with a reflection on the concept of God and spirituality in the context of nature and the universe. Rosolie and Fridman explore the interconnectedness of all living beings and the sense of awe and wonder that comes from experiencing the beauty and complexity of the natural world. They discuss the importance of humility and reverence in the face of the mysteries of existence, emphasizing the need to protect and cherish the planet and all its inhabitants. The conversation shifts to the origin of life on Earth, with Rosolie and Fridman pondering the mysteries of evolution and the emergence of complex organisms from simple beginnings. They explore the concept of life versus non-life, discussing the essence of life as something that grows and responds to stimuli. Rosolie reflects on the realness of life in the jungle, contrasting it with the idea of living in a simulation or video game. He discusses the raw and primal nature of survival in the wilderness, where basic needs like water, food, and shelter become paramount. He shares moments of joy and celebration amidst the hardships of jungle life, such as finding clean water or enjoying a swim in a river after a long day of trekking. The conversation shifts to the work of renowned conservationist Jane Goodall, who has dedicated her life to studying and protecting wildlife. Rosalie praises Goodall for her advocacy for the environment and her efforts to educate people, especially children, about the importance of nature conservation. He admires her commitment to preserving ecosystems and wildlife for future generations. Rosalie also discusses the fieldwork of explorers like Teddy Roosevelt, Percy Fawcett, and Richard Evans Schultes, who ventured into uncharted territories to document and map the natural world. He highlights the bravery and resilience of these explorers, who faced unknown dangers and challenges in their quest for discovery. He emphasizes the importance of documenting biodiversity and preserving specimens for scientific study, noting the significant contributions of early explorers to our understanding of the natural world. The conversation touches on the survival skills required in the jungle, including the importance of cleanliness, organization, and improvisation. Rosalie shares insights into the physical and mental demands of survival, such as building shelters, starting fires, and hunting for food. He discusses the significance of fat in the diet for energy and warmth, especially in cold conditions. Rosalie reflects on the TV show Alone and the experiences of contestants who demonstrated resilience and resourcefulness in extreme wilderness conditions. He praises their determination and adaptability in facing challenges such as isolation, hunger, and harsh weather. He acknowledges the different approaches to survival, from pragmatic optimism to spiritual connection with the land. The conversation delves into the loneliness of wilderness survival and the psychological impact of isolation. Rosolie shares his own experiences of filming himself in the jungle as a way to cope with loneliness and communicate with others. He discusses the unique challenges faced by individuals who spent years living in remote locations and had to adapt to unfamiliar environments and cultures. Rosalie reflects on the evolution of his conservation work with Jungle Keepers, an organization dedicated to protecting the Amazon rainforest. He describes the journey of building partnerships, securing funding, and expanding efforts to save thousands of acres of pristine wilderness. He credits the support of listeners, including those inspired by his conversation with Lex Fridman, for the success of Jungle Keepers in preserving critical habitats and biodiversity. Rosalie and his team are working on innovative strategies to crowdfund conservation efforts in the region. They aim to protect the rainforest from destruction caused by activities such as logging, gold mining, and illegal farming. By purchasing land and establishing biological corridors, they hope to create the largest protected area in the Amazon rainforest. Their approach involves working with local communities and international experts to raise funds and implement conservation projects. The discussion also touches on the beauty and brutality of nature in the Amazon jungle. Rosolie reflects on the chaos and danger inherent in the natural world, as well as the potential for humans to bring order and compassion to their environment. He shares his belief in a universal force of love and compassion that transcends religious boundaries, viewing nature itself as a manifestation of the divine. Throughout the podcast, Rosolie and Fridman discuss the impact of human actions on the environment and the importance of conservation efforts. They reflect on the interconnectedness of all life forms and the need to protect the delicate balance of ecosystems. Rosolie shares his experiences of living in the jungle, facing challenges such as scarcity of resources and the constant threat of danger. As they explore the themes of adventure, spirituality, and conservation, Rosolie and Fridman contemplate the meaning of life and the role of humans in shaping their destiny. They discuss the power of individual actions to create positive change in the world and the importance of working together to protect the planet for future generations.